I've sometimes been asked by other Christians as to whether we're living in the end times. You ever heard that phrase? Are we living in the end times? Do you know what my answer is? Yes, we are living in the end times. And I also add, we've been living in the end times for 2,000 years or so. How can I say that? How can we call it the end times when it's been going on for such a long time? Well, I say that because that's how the New Testament writers described the time that they were living in. They spoke about living in the end times, or as here John says, we are in the last hour. So what is that about? What is he talking about, this last hour? What is this end times about? The point is that everything that needs to happen in God's plan of salvation has already happened, except the one last thing. So what has happened so far? Before the time of Jesus, everything was promised and pictured about who this deliverer was going to be, about the problem of sin and how it is going to be dealt with through this one special promised person, which was Jesus. And then Jesus entered into humanity, and in order to do that, to deliver God's people, he had to die and rise again and then ascend back into heaven. And from heaven, Father and Son poured out the Spirit on his people, on the church. And then the gospel spread outwards through his power. So all that so far has been done. And that means that there is that one final act that needs to happen, the return of Jesus, which brings in both the judgment and then the eternal experience of God's people. And that's why we can call it the last hour or the end times, because there is only that one event left to happen, that one event that is lots of events in one, the return of Jesus, the judgment, and the inauguration of the eternal state. That's all that is left. So we are living in the end times.